Hi friends, it's Julia. I'm here to share a layout that I created for Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches Round 6. This is actually day number 23, and I'm using my October 2019 Counterfeit Kit Challenge kit to complete this. Now this layout, you can see I have it all laid out here. I went through my scraps and I pulled a ton of them in from one of the 6x6 paper pads, and I'll start gluing them down here in a few minutes. And I'm following along with the sketch, not exactly, but close enough that I think if you held my layout next to the sketch, you could see the similarities. And I think that's one of the things that I love so much about sketches is that when you start using a sketch, you can follow along exactly as the sketch goes, or you can break away and do your own thing. It really is up to you and whatever creative process that you're feeling at the time that you're creating your page. I guess too, it would depend on what embellishments or papers or that kind of thing. If you didn't have any scraps to work with, then it might not be as random as this looks with all of these pattern papers, because I used the scraps from an entire 6x6 paper pad as well as some additional scraps from my kit. So you'll see, this is one of those paper pads that I absolutely fell in love with, and I did not want to get rid of a single piece. So I kept it all, and I have gone around and I have pulled those scraps in. I had quite a few 2x2 pieces already cut down, so I added those here along with all of these really tiny and little bitty scraps. And it's so fun to be able to get to use these things up. I mean, I didn't throw them away because I loved them, and seeing them all put together on a paper is, on a layout is phenomenal. So anyway, I'll get that all glued down. I left a space empty there, and I left it empty because that's primarily where my photo is going to go. And so you'll see here in just a few minutes as I finish putting these bits and pieces down. And I think that's the beauty of having a layout like this, is that you can really utilize so many bits and pieces of scraps. Even the smallest and the tiniest. I have some little tiny pieces that are like a ½ inch by a little over a quarter inch, So I love how it came together. I did add a photo corner there. And I'm going to get it positioned down just right and stick it down. And I thought about moving that one piece that I have back behind that corner, and I changed my mind. I'm taking a few more scraps and I am just going to cut them down to act as almost a shelf below the photo. To set an embellishment cluster on, as well as the title. It doesn't set on there per se, but it helps to line things up. And you'll see I'm taking that scrap of paper and it's got diagonal stripes on it. And so I'm just going through and cutting off the diagonal pieces. And my tape roller was a little bit wider than the actual strip itself, so I'm making sure all that glue is tucked under the little paper strip. And I love being able to utilize even these tiny little scraps. You can see over to the side, I have my title already laid out there, as well as the journaling laid out in those tile stickers. Now, I did pull those tile stickers from another layout, or sorry, from my stash. Not all from my stash. Some were from my kit. The rest I pulled from my stash. I think most of the white ones I pulled from my stash. Anyway, I pulled them out and created one of those. It almost looks like a ransom note. And that's what I think when I see titles like this. I think it's a ransom note title or subtitle. And you can see I used the puffy alphabet down at the bottom to create Summer 2017. Now I'm just going through and adding some wood veneer arrows as well as hearts around the layout, just to give it a little depth and texture, because the pattern pieces really do all the work for you. You don't have to have much embellishment there, but it sometimes will look flat, and I like a more 3D look, and so I need to add some texture with that wood veneer. I actually have these little scraps of washi tape left over. I kind of pulled a bunch of smaller strips to put on the wax paper to say, okay, I want to use this, washi tape with this layout or whatever. And so I have a ton of those left over. And so for this one, I just put it on the layout itself. I found a way to use them as opposed to throwing them away, because they were there just to spark my memory to pull that certain washi tape to use on a specific layout. So this is so fun. It's nearly done. It is not a fancy layout. It is not one that took a whole lot of time. The longest time it took was, gluing down all the paper pieces, and that was really it. Putting the embellishments, the title, and all that jazz on, that went super duper fast. You can see I took one of those pieces of hexagon pieces where it says happiness is. I think it had a line under it or something to put the title there. And I just went across there and cut that off and just put it right on top of my journaling up there. And it says Sunset on the Beach, Pensacola, Florida. And there I just put the title or the date down so that I wouldn't forget when I'm going to put these into albums. My layouts, I always like to have the date of the photo on it. I'm pulling my enamel dots, thinking I wanted to use some of those, but I thought, no, I need something because that sunshine is reflecting off the water and it gives it such a glow there. I thought, why not add some stars because it is dusk, it's getting dark. Why not add some glitter stars around the page? So that's what I did. Those are all little random bits and pieces of glitter stars that I have previously punched out from leftover glitter pieces. And I'm just popping them around on the layout, just wherever it feels right. It gives it a little bit more depth and dimension as well as the wood veneers do. So that's another benefit of having something like that that has a little bit of texture to it, if you will, or that's such a contrast to the flat background or flat paper that's in it. Yeah, I just love having those glitter stars around. I do have close-ups at the end, so make sure you stick around if you want to see close-ups of any of the embellishment clusters. It's not really clusters. I just went around the layout, all four corners of the layout, and then a total view of the layout itself. So yeah, I appreciate you guys being here, and I would love it if you would flip me a thumbs up. Not mandatory, not necessary, but I always appreciate it when you do. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Stay tuned for the close-ups, and I will see you guys on the next video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.